everyone, and welcome back to Ghouls Night In, the spooky chat show with your best ghoul friends. I'm Penny Snark.
And I'm Midge Munster.
And today we are talking about a much requested topic, a topic that is very near and dear to my own heart, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yay!
As you may have heard on this podcast previously, I do have a Buffy tattoo.
Yes.
Buffy was a major influence on me, so it is a show that I love very much, and I am excited to talk about.
I'm so excited. I actually, speaking of tattoos, I just last night went with my best friend who introduced me to Buffy when we were 11, and she got a Kiss the Librarian mug tattoo last night.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
So yeah, I'm excited. I'm ready to talk some Buffy.
Yes, and we'll just throw out there before we dig in that obviously Joss Whedon has been making an ass of himself all over the place, and a lot has come out that he was also being an asshole during this whole time. So sucks to be him, but there were a lot of amazing creative people who worked on this show, and we can love and support them while still thinking that he is a tool.
And I mean, from what I've seen, I think like Sarah Michelle Gellar kind of separated herself pretty quickly out. I mean, she's been pretty anti-Joss Whedon for a while.
Yeah.
So I still definitely love the show, love the art, love the actors. But yeah, it's a bummer when some of your favorite creators let you down, isn't it?
Yep. It is. It really is. But
also, of course, I just wanted to say, because I feel like we have to, spoilers abound.
Oh, yes, that is thank you. That was the other thing that I was like gonna say, full spoilers for everything Buffy. So
for everything, yeah. So if you are somehow so behind the train and you have not watched this wonderful show yet, either listen and then forget everything you learn. Or go right now.
Sometimes a good spoiler can be like enticing, and it makes you more excited to watch something. So maybe you'll hear us talk about something, and you'll be like, "Wow, I didn't know that super cool thing happens on Buffy."
We gonna get you. We gonna make you a fan.
So just a brief history of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. There was a film that came first, which was also written by Joss Whedon, that came out in 1992. But it didn't really do the things that they were hoping that it would. So he was approached to turn it into a TV series, which premiered in March 1997 on the WB. And over the course of airing, it did move over to UPN, two networks that no longer exist in 2022. But Buffy had its finale on May 20th, 2003, but the story has continued in comic book series and all sorts of other good stuff.
Are you a...
Yes.
I'm kind of the... what's the word? Like, of the place where the movie is kind of my We Don't Talk About Bruno.
Yeah, I've seen it. I saw it once. I think because I was into the show and I was like, well, I hear that like the movie's not great, but maybe I'll watch it, and I like feel like I need to see it to be part of this. And I'm like, yeah, it's just very much not the same thing.
No. Well, and they reference it a lot in the first season of Buffy. Surprisingly, like, I mean, they talk a lot about the school burning down and everything. It's like you kind of almost, I don't want to say have to watch it, but it is good context. But man, it's no Sarah Michelle.
No. And Buffy was popular when it was airing, but never really critically loved. It didn't win a lot of awards. But today it is ranked on many best TV show of all time lists, like best written shows of all time, best fantasy series, top cult shows, and definitely I feel like has gotten its flowers in the time since it went off the air.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So I want to just share a little bit to let people know about my level of investment in Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yes, please do.
So I did not watch Buffy while it was airing. I was a little bit on the young side for that. So like it ended just as I was getting into high school. But it was on cable in syndication, and they showed 2 episodes a day. And this is going to sound like an incredibly ancient thing to anyone young out there. I loved Buffy so much that I constantly was buying VHS tapes, and I recorded all 7 seasons of Buffy on VHS tapes over the course of it being re-aired on cable. And I had them all in a stack in my room, and I had my printout with all of so like everything would be labeled, like, you know, Buffy season 4 episodes like 6 through 12. And I had that in my day.
So you weren't really a fan of the show then?
No, I was, you know, casually interested.
I didn't find Buffy till much later. My best friend Rain, she watched it on TV, which I'm even a few years your junior, and she was probably too young to be watching Buffy.
Yeah.
But her dad is a comic book artist and is very like into everything fancy, like fantasy, fanciful type stuff. So she grew up watching it and introduced me when we were in like 6th or 7th grade, and she had like the DVD set, and we watched the whole thing through in the course of like probably a month and a half, and I was hooked.
Yes. It's so good. And I have been like the Buffy evangelist for so many of my friends. When I got to college, I had my DVDs and my roommates, we would watch it all. And then I'd find some other person who hadn't seen Buffy. And I'm like, do you want to watch Buffy with me? I'll watch it with you.
You got to spread the good word.
You do. So I have some questions, some comments. It's just going to be just kind of a chit chat about our girl Buffy and everybody else. So my first question for you is who is your favorite character?
Oh.
And you could do a Scooby favorite and a non-Scooby favorite, if that is a thing, or whatever you're feeling.
I'm gonna go with my like traditional favorite and like leave something else for something else. But I love Willow. Yeah. I really love Willow. And I just love Allison Hannigan too. She's just such a good little actress. And I mean, I don't know if you had planned to discuss this later, but I'm gonna bring it up. Like Willow was one of the first queer representations I ever saw on television.
Yes.
And of course it wasn't perfect by any means. And Buffy as a general, like the show as a whole, has some things that aren't perfect, as do any shows that were made years ago. But yeah, Willow, I think I related to her a lot when I was younger because she was the bookworm and she was the nerd of the group. And like, I think that resonated with me, and I always just thought she was so sweet, and I love Oz so much.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I'm a Willow Oz stan.
They were super sweet. Yeah, I loved Willow. I definitely related a lot to Willow when I was watching it the first time. I will say the signs of the times, as I've also been doing some rewatching over the quar, as we say.
Over the quar.
The quar, the great quar, as they say on the Bananas podcast. But I've been like shook by how much I relate to Giles now. Oh, as like an adult person, and I'm like, these teens are ridiculous.
The way that I love Giles is unhealthy.
He's so good, and like he's got, you know, his bad boy flair. He's got that dark past. Ripper.
Yeah, I love Daddy Giles.
Yes.
I think I sent you that TikTok.
Yes, you did.
It's like Buffy. It's like, I want my daddy. And then this woman's like, I want your daddy too. And it's just Giles.
I did see while I was looking up fun facts for this episode that Anthony Stewart Head was actually the first person cast for the show.
Really? Well, he's
Yep.
perfect. He's
He
so
is, yeah, and that's
perfect.
what they said, that like they auditioned him and they were like, "Yep,
Done.
this
Check.
this is it." And that like a lot of the other people who had auditioned for Giles like were like playing it very buttoned up and like very fuddy-duddy, and like obviously part of the appeal of Giles is that he has this, tweedy librarian exterior, but like he does have, he's snarky, he has like deep passions and things like that, and like we said, a dark past, so he's
A
really
lot of
got the great
nuance.
vibe. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think those are so. Oh, my next question was, who is your favorite baddie?
Yeah, so that's why I was like, I'm
Yes.
gonna save Daddy Spike.
Oh,
I can't. I love James Marsters so much. That character is so well written. He's
Yes.
so funny. He is, I think it's really, maybe I'm wrong, but I think it's really hard to write a likable villain that is so purely evil like 90% of the time.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's really, especially in the first like season 2, season 3, I mean, he's absolutely like despicable.
Oh yeah, he's bad.
But you love him. Like he's so, or I do. He's he's so funny, and I love him and Drusilla together.
Yes.
Yeah. Fave.
I had a Spike calendar, an official wall calendar that was just all Spike. So I feel
I love that for you.
And yeah, I love Spike and Drusilla together. They're an amazing villain pair. I feel like, I mean, from also just like from the perspective of like plot wise, like Spike, Drew, and Angelus were like such a perfect like big bad trio for Buffy.
Yeah.
Like just the emotional stakes of all of it. Crazy about it, love it. And then like Spike in later seasons, I've one of my very favorite tropes is like the villain who is like just lightly domesticated.
Uh-huh.
Like they're still bad, but they're like an angry cat that you're just like, well, I guess he can hang out even though he like knocks the vases over sometimes. He's mostly ineffectual, and I just love that trope for villains, and that's very much the Spike character path.
Well, yeah, especially like post Chip Spike is very like, yeah, just grumpy, just very
right, just cranky and like reluctantly occasionally useful against his own will.
Do you know that you might know this because you're such a buff? Ha ha. He got kicked out of Juilliard, James Marsters.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so they were, I don't remember the whole story. I mean, I remember reading this article years ago, but he got kicked out and they like told him he wasn't going to amount to anything, and he booked Buffy like a short while later.
Yeah.
And yeah, God, I mean, what a truly fantastic actor, in my opinion. I mean, you love to hate him.
Agreed. So good. And I'm sure there will be more discussion of this at a later question. But
I'm holding my opinions.
Yes. So the next thing that I wanted to talk about, which I feel is something that is very like controversial around some people. Just like, what are your favorite and least favorite seasons of Buffy? Because I feel like people have very strong feelings about what seasons they like and like what they maybe are less fond of.
I'm gonna tell you right now that any episode with Riley in it can fully suck my butt.
Oh my God, yes.
I hate Riley so much. Yes. So that was that season 4?
Yes, season 4.
It's pretty much a wash for me. I'm uninterested in season 4. I think Riley undercut Buffy's character so much, and it just is like hard to watch.
Season 4. I was also going to say season 4 was my least favorite season, and it's hard because there are some really standout episodes. In season 4, like Hush is in season 4. I of course love Something Blue, where Spike and Buffy are gonna get married. But like, I hate Riley. I'm not into the military plot line. Adam is such like a nothing
Yeah.
villain. And like that one is definitely by far like, I'm like, this is very meh.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. As far as favorite seasons, I I mean, I'm rewatching it right now, so maybe that's what's in my head, but I love season 2.
It's
I
so
really
good.
do. I think it's Buffy at its best. Um I love I think just too having the complexity of Angel losing his soul in that season makes it
Hmm.
the most emotionally interesting, and this kind of reflection of him doing what he did to Drusilla is very fascinating. And um yeah, I'm gonna say 2 is my favorite. I'm gonna put that out there.
Yes, I agree. So, like, the thing that, like, I find that a lot of Buffy fans really dislike season 6. Um,
Yeah.
it is definitely darker, but I do like some of that, and I like some of the
Well,
like exploration of like different parts of Buffy's character, because it's like it is she has a hard life and she has a
yeah.
lot of trauma, and I don't think that it's bad to like recognize and explore that.
Is that when does Joyce die? Is that the end of season 5?
Yeah, it's in season 5. And
Like,
then Glory is the end of season 5, and then
okay,
season 6 is
yeah.
after she gets resurrected and is like fucked up.
See, yeah, I actually really like too. I like a lot of what they did with this is probably an unpopular opinion. I like a lot of what they did with Buffy and Tara's like relationship
Oh yeah.
too.
Hmm.
In that season. I don't know. I think it's kind of like the Harry Potter thing, right? Like I think if you grew up with it and then it kind of gets dark, people get like bummed out because they're like, oh,
Yeah.
this was such a fun, like lighthearted. I mean, it's never fully lighthearted, obviously, but um I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't dislike 6 at all, but I definitely have heard that people do.
Yeah. I think it is fair, like there's a lot of stuff in season 6 that like is, I think they're kind of swinging for the fences on some of
Sure.
those, and they don't necessarily deliver like appropriately some of like this trauma exploration type stuff.
Sure.
So I can see that, and I can see how that's a complaint, but I really I will say that I dislike, there is definitely a contingent of people who are like, Buffy is not the same once it's out of high school. The entire metaphor was about high school, so you can't like move past that, and I 100% disagree with that.
Yeah, I do too. And honestly, that's kind of one of the parts of Buffy that makes me uncomfortable in the early seasons, especially like with the Angel relationship.
Oh
I'm like,
yeah.
did we have to make it a high schooler? I don't love this. And I get that like the idea is that like it's so hard to slay vampires and go to high school. But like, yeah, no, it's kind of it makes me a little uncomfy.
Yeah, for sure. And I do kind of feel like, I don't know, as a person who lived through high school and then became an adult person, like,
Hmm.
yeah, that shit's hard. And I think that it's, appropriate to say that, even when you're the Slayer, like having to deal with stuff like paying your bills, having to work a crappy job, like stuff like that is
Double
like
Meat
part of the,
Palace.
yes, it is the growing up experience. And that's kind of how it rolls.
I want to see somebody cosplay Double Meat Palace
Oh my god, that would be
uniform.
so. The hat is so cute.
It's so funny. I love it.
I fully support that. Um, so one question that everyone, the world has been asking for our opinion on, that
Yes.
we've sort of teased, is Spike versus Angel. Who
Hmm.
is the appropriate companion for Buffy, or is it neither?
Well, yeah, I was gonna say it is neither is the correct answer, but uh, I am a Spike girl through and through, and I will defend that till the day I die.
Yeah,
Uh,
same.
okay.
Oh, very same.
I I never, not that I never liked Angel. That's not a good way of putting it. Here's my thing with the Spike Angel debate. Angel, it literally took 5 seconds after him losing his soul to be an absolute douche canoe to her and like treat her so terribly and try to kill everyone she loved. Spike, he hasn't had a soul this whole time. Granted, later he gets the chip planted in his head, but like he, even without a soul, like, he has this, like you said, the domesticity of, like, he deeply cares for Drusilla, and he doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have to. Like, when she's not doing well at the, like, beginning of season 2, he's, like, bringing her food, and he gets her, like, jewelry on Valentine's Day. Like, he doesn't have to do that.
Right? Yeah.
Like, he's a soft boy.
Yes.
William is a soft boy.
Yes, I was gonna say Fool for Love is one of my
It's
all-time
so
favorite
good.
Buffy episodes.
Same.
That for people who are not obsessed with Buffy, that is like the flashback episode as we kind of go back through Spike's past and see him as a human and see other stuff. And I'm just like, oh, my heart every time. It's so good. And I don't know, like I like Angel fine. Like I think that like their relationship is very compelling
Mm-hmm.
in the seasons, but I'm also like, you don't have to get together with like the first serious boyfriend in high school. That doesn't mean that he's like your forever partner. So
Right.
I think that Buffy definitely kind of grows past what Angel is, and like he leaves and she becomes someone new, and that's just, how life works. So I
Yeah.
have never been like a starry-eyed Buffy and Angel fan for life, but I mean, I do definitely agree that Buffy also is a wonderful independent lady and should be doing her what's best for her, and that might not involve dating vampires.
The
Even
secret
though they're
third
terribly
option.
sexy. But
Yes. Or, I'm totally kidding. I would like to preface that. I was going to say secret third option, Xander.
oh, I
No,
I would
never.
say the best secret option, why don't she and Willow date?
Oh, amen.
They
Yeah.
would be so cute.
Yeah, I love Willow. Willow can have everyone. Willow is the best. Everyone date Willow.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Uh but Buffy. So I had a brief activity. We have talked a lot already, but I pulled up Rolling Stone has an article of the 10 best Buffy episodes of all time.
Ooh,
And
we gonna like
I have not looked at this list, but I thought you and I could like thumbs up, thumbs down, and
our own Buffy episode smasher pass?
yes, smash your paths and let Rolling Stone know if they have it right or not.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you right now, because we just brought this up. If Fool for Love is not on this list is invalid.
Yep, agreed. So let's see. Number 10 is season 1, episode 7, Angel. So this is the episode where it is revealed that Angel is a vampire, and we learn kind of his backstory.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
fine.
I feel like that's a strong episode, and
Mm-hmm.
it's especially like, so I
The
do.
shock of them, like, when they're, well, I mean, I guess we kind of know, but like when they're kissing and he pulls back and he's like,
Oh, and
ah!
it's burn. Oh, but
Yeah,
oh my goodness, and he's like rar, and then later when she hugs him and he
and the
moves away and he has the
crossburn in his
crossburn chest.
chest.
Okay, that is. I
Yeah.
really like vampires. Okay, so like that that is quality no matter what.
Yeah.
Let's see. Number 9, season 3, episode 9, The Wish, which is the alternate universe one where Cordelia wishes Buffy never came to Sunnydale.
Oh, that's a good episode.
That is. And that's
That's a
I
really
think the
fun episode.
first episode that we have Anya appear in, just
Mm-hmm.
as like a one-off before she comes back. Oh my god, I forgot Anya. I love Anya.
You said, actually, I lied. I
Actually,
love
I
Anya.
lied. Well, I have only gotten through like the first, like I think I'm in season 3 on my rewatch, so I haven't
Right.
gotten through all of the later seasons as recently.
Yeah, it definitely isn't at top of mind. But yeah, Anya's a good character.
Yeah, she's fun. Number 8 is season 4, episode 10, Hush.
Yeah. I
So
mean,
good.
yeah, obviously.
So good. Like that was one of the things that I did really love about Buffy is these episodes that like play with the genre convention. And I don't know, we'll see if it's on. Now I might be spoiling it. Who knows if it's on this list, but I do love the season 4 finale, which is the Crazy Dream episode.
Yeah, I actually too, I know season 1 isn't, prime by any means, because I think the budget was still pretty low.
Yeah.
But the episode where like the nightmares take over, I really like.
Yeah.
I like any kind of episode like of any show like that where like dream and reality kind of get messed up. Like the Batty Bat episode of Sabrina, I always thought was really good. I like dream reality mesh.
Yes. Agreed. Number 7, Becoming, the finale of season 2.
Oh,
So good.
so good.
Oof. I love that.
That's a two-parter though.
It is. It is. They've put it
Are they
in
part
as
one
a
and two?
single, as
Okay.
yeah, as parts 1 and 2 together.
Okay. Okay.
I love that one, and the flashbacks are so good. Just that
Mm-hmm.
the last fight with Angel, and when she smashes that sword back into his face,
Mm.
so
Yeah.
good.
That I think is if I had to say hands down, like if you had to watch one, I guess two, but like one episode of Buffy, the season 2 finale is it. Like,
Yes,
yeah.
so good. Number 6, season 6, episode 7, Once More with Feeling, the
Oh, the musical.
musical, which is
I
one
was
of my
hoping
favorite
it would be
episodes of
on here.
TV of all time. I
Me
love the
too.
musical. I love it so much. I had it on the CD. I listened to that all the time on my CD Walkman.
The number of times in my life that I've done they got the mustard out, like so many times.
Yes. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Now I'm like, I gotta listen to this after we're done recording. All right. Number 5 is another two-parter. It is Graduation Day, the
Oh,
season 3 finale.
also good.
Also good. I would have put Becoming much higher up on this list.
Yeah.
I think that is like a top 3 for me for sure. But I
Mm-hmm.
do like Graduation. That is very exciting.
What number was that?
5.
Okay. So it's halfway. Yeah, Becoming should be much further down.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Agreed. Well, I assume these are in order. I mean, why else
Why
would they
else?
be like this? But number 4 is the season 5 finale, The Gift.
Oh, okay.
So this one was interesting because this was kind of a finale because this was the last episode that aired on the
Yeah.
WB. And so I would not say that this episode would rank this high for me, but I do have to say that it is a quote from this episode that I have tattooed on me. So I have to give it ranking for that. And for anyone who is not aware, I can post a picture, but I have a wooden stake with some flowers around it and with a banner that says the hardest thing in this world is to live in it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting because people read it in a lot of different ways. A lot of people are like, that's really depressing, where I meant it to be like inspiring.
I think it's a little bit of both, which
It is like it's dark, but I mean, I guess the way that I think of it is kind of the way that Buffy does give it to Dawn, that the hardest thing you can do is to just keep living, but at the same time, that's all you have to do.
Yeah, and that we all like basically choose to wake up every day and keep going. I think it has a very uplifting quality to it.
Yeah,
I think you did good, kid.
Thanks. I like it. Oh, ew. What?
Uh-oh.
I disagree with this. Number 3 is season 6, episode 19, Seeing Red, in which Tara is murdered.
Oh, not you.
I do not like this one.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, so I'm looking at it because I didn't remember. I don't remember specifically what happened in the episode apart from that.
Yeah.
But it is like the nerd trio are like running around like with like invulnerability powers from some device, and then
I do yeah. The fact that I had to think that hard about what episode that was means it shouldn't be on the list.
Yeah, agreed. And it was very like, I don't know. I respect the story. I could potentially respect the storyline of Tara's death, but I do think it is very much within the like dead lesbians kind of trope, and I'm not a huge fan. Not a huge fan. Thumbs down to this, Rolling Stone.
Thumbs down.
Thumbs down. The number 2 episode is season 2, 14, Innocence, which is painful, beautiful, very good.
It's
I
a great
respect
episode.
this.
I
And
I told you I just watched I just watched the episode after Innocence. Uh,
mhm.
that is the Miss Calendar episode, and I
Passion.
Passion.
That is
Yeah,
one that would be on my top 10 list
same. It's such a
of
good
best
episode, and
episodes.
it's probably one of my like top 3 Giles episodes too. It's just so good.
Mhm.
Um, uh, yeah.
It's so good. And number 1 on their list is season 5, episode 16, The Body, which is the episode in which Joyce dies.
Really?
Yeah. I
I
know
mean,
this is
okay.
another one that is like is an interesting production one. I don't know if people realize this, but this episode is famous because there is no background music in the entire episode.
Yeah, I did not think about. Well, and I don't know. As far as acting, there's excellent, like it's excellent material
Yeah.
in it, but like no, that would not have made my top 10 list at all.
No, no, agreed. I mean, as you and I said, this should definitely have Fool for Love on it.
Yep.
Um I'm trying to think of what other kind of like if there are other like deeper cuts I would put on. I would put on, now I'm not remembering the name of it, but the Buffy Faith Body Swap episodes.
Oh, yeah, that's a good
Those are
one.
super good.
Yeah. I also I kind of like in season 7 where like they activate all the like potential slayer, the chosen.
Yeah, the finale.
Yeah, like I like, I think that I think that should be on there because it's cool. Like it's a really cool concept.
Yeah, it's
Um,
interesting that it has like many of the finales, but
which like is
which
fair,
yeah, but
but
not that one, and not I think the Wacky Dreams one should be on here just
yeah.
for it's one of my favorite episodes at least. But yeah, interesting.
I
Interesting
think
choices, Rolling Stone. Not terrible, but not great.
I also think a lot of my favorite episodes are kind of stupid just because I like them.
Yes.
Like I really like Ted for no reason. I just think
Oh,
that's a funny
Ted.
episode. Like it's just a silly good time.
It is silly. That is a silly one. I would agree. I was gonna say that one of my favorite episodes is Band Candy, where all of the
Oh,
parents in Sunnydale start acting like teens, and
yeah.
Giles is like a bad boy, and
Yeah.
so that one I enjoy very much, and I think that's a good one.
I also, again, top of mind, I just watched that episode where Xander puts the love spell.
Oh yeah.
And all the girls are chasing him, and like Buffy gets turned into a rat because she was hosting SNL that week, and so she couldn't be in the episode, so they like turn her into a rat for the whole episode so that you never see Sarah Michelle Gellar hardly at all.
I always
uh
love wacky stuff like that when you're like, that's an interesting thing that happened, and then you find out that there's like, oh no, Sarah Michelle Gellar wasn't available, and you're like, oh, okay.
So funny. Well, I have one final question, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I would love to just talk about vampires in general. In my opinion, Buffy is one of the best like vampire representations in media, in my
Yes.
opinion.
Agreed.
Yeah, what are your thoughts about like these vampires versus, like the Twilight saga, the Interview with the Vampire, like the other representations of vampires? Where do Buffy vampires stand for you?
Yeah, I mean, Buffy vampires are definitely some of my favorite pop culture vampires. I like that you do get the mix of like the human and personality side with like the beastie monster side.
Mm-hmm.
Like not the ones that you mentioned. I can't remember one off the top of my head, but like there are definitely plenty of like monster fighting shows where like vampires are just like screechy bat creature type
Yeah.
thing, and I'm like, no, they have to be hot, you guys. Like, what are you
Please make
even
them hot.
doing? But like, I mean, I don't personally feel like the Twilight vampires have enough like of the like sort of threat and grit to them.
Mm-hmm.
I do really like Interview with the Vampire style vampires. I think that's like, a very classic
Mm-hmm.
sexy vampire trope. I did see one of the other fun facts I saw was that part of the reason that the Buffy vampires have like the vamp face is because they were just kind of like, it seems like maybe it's not great to just have a show of a teen girl stabbing normal people through the heart like every week. And they're like, we should make them
We
look
gotta make them
scary
scary.
so that you can tell that they're a monster.
That's
Which,
fair.
I mean, comes up, I mean, in, what is it? Is that Bad Girls, where Faith kills that dude
Oh, yeah.
and
Yeah.
stakes the assistant mayor, I think, through the heart, assuming he is a vampire, and he's not. So, dun dun dun.
Yeah, I just think the explanation of them basically, I mean, being like I know that that's the concept, but they really go well into the depth of like, this is a demon inhabiting a body. Like,
Yeah.
I think it's I don't know, it's so interesting. It's kind of like, I was actually talking about this with my friend, it's kind of like The Witcher. Like, they kind of lead you to believe that they have all the like human bred out of them, or like,
Yeah.
they're just a demon in a shell. And so I think that's what's really interesting then to me, is how much personality and life these like the vampire characters have. And like I said, I mean, Spike and Drew are so human in so many ways, and they're supposed to be these like soulless,
Yeah. And I mean, they even have like when Spike and Drew are assembling the judge, he burns up the nice little nerdy vampire with the glasses, and the judge is like, he's got human in him, this guy's a goddamn nerd.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang,
like,
it,
he reads books and poetry.
right? So yeah, it is definitely interesting, like, even against maybe like what the dogma of canon says, that there are kind of these exceptions. And I will say, I did read the novelization that's about Spike and Drusilla.
Amazing.
And have that on there, and it definitely, it is like, oh, like, can vampires love each other, or are they incapable of love?
Yeah, I think Spike and Drew love each other very much. I mean, even the way that Spike is so jealous of Angel, like, when he comes back around, it's like, yeah, you love her.
He definitely loves her. She's maybe not as committed, but I think she loves him deep down.
She's insane, and we love her for it.
Yes. I actually I loved Drusilla so much that she was referenced in several of my screen names as a high schooler.
I love that for you.
That's very on brand. So this was a delightful chat with you about Buffy. And listeners, we would love to hear what you think about Buffy. What are your favorite episodes? Which boy toy or not do you support Buffy's everlasting love with? So definitely comment and sound off and let us know.
Yes, I hope that we had a very specific listener who, in their review of the podcast, asked for this episode. So I hope you are satiated and enjoyed this very much.
Yes. Do we have a review to share today, Midge?
Yes, we do have a review from Ancora Rose today. And it's a 5-star, very informational. I love how casual the show is. You get spooky stories and fun facts rolled into one. I have a hard time with other spooky podcasts because they seem so serious and they're scary stories. So I love the conversational approach from Penny and Midge. Thank you so much, Ancora. We love you. We're glad you're listening and enjoying the show.
Yes, thank you. We aim to be your chatty, conversational, not too serious spooky show. So we're glad to hear that you also were looking for that kind of podcast.
Yes. And if you would like to have your review possibly read aloud right here on the show, be sure to stop by and review us wherever you listen to your podcasts. We really, really appreciate that.
Yes, thank you so much for listening today. If you are looking to follow along with what our podcast is up to, you can find us on Instagram at Ghouls Night in Pod. And if you would like to follow me, I am at Penny Snark.
And you can find me at Midge Munster.
And until next time, goodbye. Bye.